What is up, y'all? Oh my god, we in it. There's no turning back. This is our full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. It's in the south node of Scorpio, and it is the culmination of culminations of deaths upon deaths upon deaths upon deaths, of releasing of death cycles upon releasing upon death cycles. All of the death cycles that you've ever been through in your life have come to a culmination now. And so this is really the final closing notes on the book of your life up until this moment. It is really now that we can truly go forward and begin to write this new story. And so that's why this year, like if you are have watched any of the 2023 monthly predictions, what those do is it gives us this paradigm or outline of the story, of the plot points, of the themes for the year and how it's playing out. And so it just looks like we're on the precipice of our big breakthrough for like this whole year. And there's these stages of initiations that we're going through. And what was shown to me earlier is that it is like the process of champagnese. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But this is the process of fermentation of champagne that happens inside the bottle. It's the last step in the process. And so it's like all this time we've been preparing the vineyard, preparing the grounds, planting the vines, perfecting our grape varieties, right? And it's like 3 grape varieties that we have to balance, right? And so we finally have our champagne blend, and we've stomped the grapes and we've crushed them. We harvested a beautiful crop of grapes, and now we take these gorgeous grapes that we worked so hard for and we crush them. Crush the life out of them and get all the juice, right? And remove all the waste and all the pulp and all the skin. And what we have left, this pure nectar, is what we're going to make our final product with. And so what we've been doing is like we're going through these stages. And so now it's like we've got all the ingredients in the bottle. And now it's about like this effect that we're going through over the next few months up until the next cycle of eclipses that's going to start us off in a different direction, or it's going to like launch the new storyline, you know, for real. It's like between now, it's like we're in our fermenting process, and so there's going to be these little sparks and bubbles and things that are starting to, it feels like spirits moving, and magic is brewing and bubbling, because it is. And we are going to be so excited come time to pop that cork on the new life. And I really love that metaphor. Oh my God, so fun. And so, yeah, it's just that 2022 was an entire year. And so let's put a pin in that for a second. We know that if you've been following my videos for the duration of this channel, we've been talking about 2022 being a year of endings, of change, of transformation, of clearing away, of looking in a new direction. And so it was the beginning of the overhaul of making the changes that need to happen, moving parts and pieces, letting go, processing through a process, right? So that began in 2022, end of 2021, because that cycle of eclipses, the moon's north node had shifted into Taurus with the south node in Scorpio. And so what is happening is over the past year, we have been looking at, and so the north node is the direction that destiny is pulling us in this life. The south node are the things that we have already graduated from, maybe experiences left over from past lives, maybe things that we're wrapping up, but those are things that are completed, right? And so we are moving on from those for more depth, more meaning, more expansion. And so it's really amazing that over the past 18 months, we've been zeroing in on Taurus themes for the future. The Venus ruled a subject matter of our intimate desires. What makes us feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on? What gets us on that high flying disc that Abraham Hicks talks about? What are the things that we surround ourselves with that give us a feeling of being alive and having a sensual life of beauty and, flavor and variety and excitement, but also have, that richness and that dimension of it, like balanced with what is sustaining, what is truly secure to me, what is an expression that makes me feel free, but also held and contained in a structure where the structure it's so aligned with me that it actually sets me free. And so over the past year, I've been finding that I find great freedom and liberation if I find the ideal structure and day for me that nurtures all aspects of my physical, spiritual, emotional, mental self, uses my energy to the best of its ability. Like, I know when my concentration time is, I know when my creativity time is. And so I have been hacking those parts of my life. I also have been biohacking my genetics. I've been really getting in the nitty gritty with Creator and getting in there and intentionally co-creating my reality, my being, my day-to-day, myself, what I want to call in, and the manifestations that I'm growing. And so over time, I have done this metamorphosis where I've let the old go, and I'm feeling like, wow, I'm a blank slate, and my foundation is becoming more solidified. I've got my accoutrements and my plans and my goals together. I am prepared. I have my resources, and now it's about implementation and writing this new story as the new self, as the new embodiment, right? Let go of the old stories. This is a fresh start. So you're writing it now as you go. This is now like one of those soap operas where the writer's room is like hot and fresh every day, like in the moment. Keep it coming. Rewrite, throw that out. We're on to the pink script, people. Pink script, blue pages are gone, right? So we can change things very quickly. We can be very adaptable and malleable. And so the more that we are within our framework. So what we've been doing is we've been recalibrating and really shedding anything that's not authentically in alignment with us anymore. Or not, maybe it was, but it's not really in alignment with our further growth or the direction we're headed now. Excuse me. As we've been doing this, there's been less density and less interruption in our signal of our base core authenticity that really aligns us with the divine purpose and potential of our life that's going to unfold to the greatest awakening, to the greatest unfoldment of our soul and the greatest elevation of our soul, the expansion of our consciousness. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get a cough drop. The expansion of our consciousness. Throat tickle. Okay. Ricola. Maybe I'll be sponsored, but somebody tell Ricola how obsessed with Ricola I am. Okay. So I have my Ricola. So as we let go of these layers that are ego shells, we actually are unveiling and revealing such a stronger, more solid signal within us that's true to who we are when we're at rest, when we're at peace, when we have serenity and we're in the acceptance of what is, who we are, and we're in the presence of now. And we accept ourselves, all the fragmented parts, all of the shadow aspects, and all of our superpowers as well. We embrace them all, and we're not afraid of any of them. And so we are shedding old limiting beliefs that have held us back from being that full self. We're turning it all the way up to 11. I'm turning my volume all the way up to 11. Going to the nut house. And so we're shedding all of those limiting beliefs that have always been that same repeat tape of what has been holding us back. We're shedding our emotional patterns that have kept us trapped. We're shedding our self-doubt and self-defeatism and anything that has to do with keeping us small and satiated enough, satisfied with mediocrity or even a little bit of misery. Like all of that, we're breaking free of it. We're liberating right now. So whatever it is that has held you down, whatever has bound you, what themes came up to you during Passover, right? We're still in that time of the Omer, that period of 7 weeks where we got this light, we got the liberation, but now it's like this is the breaking of the chains, right? This is when we do the work. Over the 7 weeks, we look at the 7 levels of the soul, and each of those is challenged in different ways to overcome those demons, to transcend them, and to slay demons and turn demons into angels, right? When we turn our darkness into light, those demons are then transformed into powerful angels that then serve us, right? And we're talking about pure energy, right? And so think about that when you think of really turning a fear around and facing that, or speaking up for yourself where you never had, or prioritizing your needs when you never had the courage to. Those are huge changes that are happening. With that, you might be, hold on, I've got a sniffle now because of the coughing. 1 second. Okay, brought the tissue with me just in case. So this might mean that you are leaving careers or, maybe dreams that you once had. You're like, yeah, this isn't really for me anymore. Or you're like, you know what, this really is what I want, and I'm not going to give up on myself, and I'm going to double down. And what we're doing is we've been editing things out of our life that are not nurturing and adding to this direction, and they're not supporting this divinely guided and soul-led direction for us. Anything that's trying to pull us back in a different direction is like, it's not really for us anymore. Things that are not returning value in our energy and investment are not for us anymore. And so we're looking for equal exchange. Things that really resonate with our energy, where we can move and resonate, in a sustainable way of things that can last. And so because we've been working so long on these things, we can really appreciate how far we've come and what it's taken and what we've sacrificed to get here. There are other people, though, who have started at different stages along the way. So they might have, some people may have finished a lot of the assignments already. And so your culminating moment is going to be a little bit lighter. It's going to be like, oh, I see how I'm changing these patterns. And so we're being given these initiation periods throughout this year to really embody this transformation, to show up in our life from this new up-leveled consciousness with awareness and free will, not just our animalistic reactive nature to pacify or reach for instant gratification or in a panic try to fix something but then make more mistakes. It's like just being able to be enough in trust and certainty and feel the power of when those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait and wait patiently without anxiety. That is from A Course in Miracles, and the certainty that we're talking about is not like, hey, I definitely know what's going to happen and I'm going to be insane about it and hold on, bare-knuckled white grip. That's not it. The certainty is that you are clear about your desire. You know what you want, but you are also so certain that this life is forever unfolding to lead you to your greatest destiny. And so if divine or co-creator has something that's going to be more fulfilling for you, then life is going to play out the way it plays out, but it'll eventually course correct to get you in that direction, or it will show you, hey, red flag, bad, go the other way, right? So pay attention right now to what wants to leave, and don't keep holding on, especially if it's something that you want, like if you want change in that area. The change is trying to happen, it's just that you're not doing it proactively, so life is now doing it for you. And if you have waited until this eclipse, or you're just having a last minute awakening, then I am so sorry, but it's probably going to be a lot more intensified and a lot more condensed, because everything might seem like it's happening to you all at once, almost like a miniature Saturn return. That's because this South Node eclipse in Scorpio is transforming all the things out of our life that don't align with the new ways that we are looking at love and money and security and intimate groups and our intimate surroundings in our life. If it's not in alignment with those values now, and we don't see the value that it's returning, then Scorpio is wanting to be the death bringer and the transformation bringer and the warrior of Mars, and slice it with that one decisive swing of the sword and get it out. And so, and eclipses have that kind of energy anyway. And so if you've been resisting, then the situation is going to get loud and loud and louder, and it's going to get so uncomfortable, and it's going to get toxic, and it could make people sick. It could lead to like chaos. So allow, surrender, observe, don't push, don't force, just be realistic about what you want in your heart and soul. Talk to the Creator out loud about this, like in prayer. Prayer with your mouth out loud is so powerful. Talk out loud to the Creator about what your heart truly desires. Be truthful about it. Pour out your fears, your insecurities, your worries, but definitely make known those desires. And then say, you know what though? I don't know what I want as this, limited human consciousness, right? But I know that I know what I want, and you know what's going to ultimately fulfill me. And if this is a step in my journey, then great, you'll align me with it. And if it's not, then you'll protect me from it. But this or something better is coming. And so I can feel relaxed and certain in that. And the more relaxed and certain I feel, the more vibrationally the situation can relax. As vessels and channels, we are open. We're not attached to the outcome. So we're not neurotic, right? Our energy isn't locked up. Fear, lack, and doubt isn't causing us to be either self-destructive because we're being reactive, and it's also not causing us to lock up and block off. So we have to be relaxed. We have to trust, right? And that trust, that relaxation, that excitement in the moment, and the gratitude and the feeling of fulfillment, that's the resonance that is going to bring in and attract and be able to match the frequency of what you're going to be grateful and feel fulfilled by. So it's all about that last step of surrender, of trust, of not being so attached that you're creating polarity through your neurotic anxiety. And that's the hardest thing to do in the middle of this storm, right? Is find the eye of peace and calmness in the middle of the chaos. But that's exactly what we have to do. I wore white today. I've been wearing white on eclipses. I feel like it reflects the light. And that's what I want to do. I want to absorb the light, and I want to reflect the light. And also, white is the presence of all color. And so I am wearing, all of the colors of the spectrum right now, and those colors have frequencies, and they are in alignment with like the divine frequencies of the different aspects of the Creator, right? So love that little bit of a sidetrack note there. So the South Node eclipse, South Node leaving behind, Scorpio, Deathbringer, leaving behind. This is the last of these Scorpio South Node eclipses, I think, for a few decades. So this is like last call for purge, last call to really catch this wave of opportunity. Otherwise, you're gonna fall behind. You're gonna miss this chance. It's gonna get more painful. The situation is gonna create more chaos and just more mess to clean up. So right now, you have so much potential to like launch forward. So let the universe do its thing right now. Pray for guidance, pray for protection, pray for blessing, but pray for what you want, and then release your will and agenda to the creator, and let the creator, you know, co-create with you. Get out of the way. Show up when you're divinely guided, but really question yourself in those moments. Like, do I have an agenda here? Is this, am I having creator consciousness or destroyer consciousness in this moment? Is my ego wanting to say something, or am I like hesitant to say something and I'm too scared to say something? So usually you need to do the opposite of what you are craving. If you're like, man, I can't wait to say something about this, then don't say anything. If you're like, I don't really want to bring this up because I don't want to rock the boat, and you know, I can just step back and just you know, it's probably when you should say something, because this is about, you know, breaking patterns and raising your self-worth and learning how to take up for yourself while also having empathy and understanding and sharing with others, right? And so, but it's about knowing how to balance strong boundaries so that you can be the director of your sail and not be swayed off path by every strong, loud, consistent, you know, nagging or needing influence around you that's going to trigger your codependent, like, you know, tendencies, right? We're getting control of that now. These are going to be new relationship patterns, right? If you have been in a cycle of poverty, you can break that now. If you've had like this guilty attachment to, like, say, a lawsuit money or an inheritance that's made you feel a lot of weight and a burden to bear, then like get rid of that mindset so that you can have a good life with that money, right? So this is about breaking free and liberating the self, even though it may require us to do uncomfortable things or feel uncomfortable feelings initially. That is the process of death and rebirth, and it's going to be a good sort of pain that is necessary, and it brings purification, and it actually purifies a lot of the negativity and turns it into light. It's a sacrifice, but it's not the kind of pain where you stay in a situation that's toxic. It's not the kind of pain that you keep like putting yourself last at the detriment of yourself, right? It's the kind of pain where you are, you know, doing what's uncomfortable for you, but you're doing what's right and what's in the highest good for you and for all involved. Even though sometimes it's difficult, right? Because you're looking ahead for the higher value, right? You don't want instant gratification. It might be the right thing, but if you pick those grapes before they're ripe, then you're gonna have a terrible end product. So, you know, it's about timing. So it's not only about what you're guided to do or say, but the timing matters as well. So be sensitive to that. Okay, let us get started. Just final notes that every planet on Earth is just aligned. Every planet on Earth, every planet, every star, everything in our solar system right now is just aligned to bring us through major transformation and forward movement. The law of attraction has been activated, was on the front or the top of the deck, and trust your gut was on top of when I just cut that. And so we're going to do the Celtic cross now. Peace and release. That is us in the context of this situation right now in this moment. Peace, release. Whatever is happening, whatever has happened, it's been divinely ordained. It was part of your soul contract. But now the assignment has been complete. This has been like a group project that we've all been working on with different partners. And we were partnered up with people who had we all were given these assignments, right? We're on these classes, and the people who had the most similar things to work on were put in group projects together. And so the project has been presented to the class, and now the class is over. The project is complete. You are now probably being taken away from some of these players in the group. And it's not because it's necessarily been a failure, it's just that the project is now complete. And so it was only ever there in school to teach you so that you could now be successful at actually putting this information and this like experience into practice in the real world to actually be successful and have the thing that you want. So if you are feeling like other people in your group did not do the work, you might be feeling the weight of responsibility, of guilt, of like feeling like, oh no, they didn't do the work, I did everything, so now they're not prepared for the real world, and so now I feel like I have to make sure they're taking, it's like, no, that's codependency, that's enmeshment. It's like we did our part, we played our part with each other, but like ultimately their assignment is up to them. You can't make anybody change, they have to change for themselves. And that's why when you are a person who grows a lot and you are a person that values personal development, spiritual expansion, self-growth, you change a lot and your jobs change and the people around you change, and maybe, you haven't had like one long-term love life that like one love relationship that lasted forever like you wanted. Maybe you've, gone through different relationships, and that's because you've grown so much that you're not the same person that you used to be. And so those partners just weren't growing with you in that same direction. And you just graduated what you were in, right? The relationships in your careers that you had, it's like you're kind of mourning those because you're like, they're not really ones that I'm going to continue on, and you're going to miss them, and you can't like let that make you stay in a career that you hate because you don't want to leave. You can't mourn the life and leave it and part with it. I knew for me, like transitioning out of film was very difficult. It's the death of a lifelong dream, but it was just realizing that it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. And I feel completely at peace with it. And so just be at peace that maybe you're led right up to this point, that everything's perfectly imperfect, and that there's nothing to do now but just let it go, let the process of emotional digestion happen, and look forward to new, guaranteed greater things to come. Greater things want to come in. That's why everything is like happening in such an extreme way, because it's like, you can't miss this. Do you understand? You cannot miss this. Okay, what's crossing us now? It's fucking time to party. It is time to party. Can you see that? Kick up your heels. It's time to celebrate. Life is getting too serious. Lighten up. Go play. Have some fun. All work and no play. Shake things up. Live a little. Don't be a Debbie Downer, right? So holding on in that old cycle and the old stories of the old self, holding on to Debbie Downer life. Universe, co-creator, like you can trust that God divine is not sending you down some toilsome burden that you don't want to be in. That's not what's happening. Everything is starting to expand so that you can finally join and party in life and really join in and celebrate and have fun and not be in these toxic environments and these toxic relationships, these toxic exchanges where everything's just sucking you dry anymore. It's like, you don't have to be the one that's carrying the burden for everyone. You don't have to be the Rambo of your life. All the time I'm like, I feel like I'm like living life like I wanted to be like Keira Knightley from Love Actually, with somebody like holding up signs about how much they love me. And I feel like what I'm really is like Keanu Reeves from Constantine, or Linda Hamilton like with like one arm like pumping a shotgun in like Terminator. It's like, why? How did this happen? But that is like over now, and we've gone through the worst part of it, and we can let go of the difficulty and move into a new dawn. So it's time to party. This card was in my hand. It's going to be in the position of the subconscious influence that's influencing the situation right now. It's a good match. Okay, so things are wanting to come in. We have finally observed enough about our subconscious and been able to transform and embody just enough to start activating the law of attraction like we saw when we started the spread. And now we are starting to pull in what really resonates, because we are starting to become very aware of what actually really resonates for us. We're getting clear on what is repellent and what is attractive. What is something that lights us up and that we can expand in through the long term, And what is something that lights us up temporarily but may be very stifling long term? So yeah, I'm gonna read this card because it's kind of specifically to do with romance. Not just like good jobs and good clients and good, you know, work relationships. And we've had a lot of cards recently coming up about soulmates. So a lot of readers and people that I watch have talked about this year being a big year for soulmates and twin flames coming together, just because of the collective elevation in consciousness and the need for so much more light work in the world, that we need people who are light workers supported and like feeling nurtured and feeling lit up and turned on. Because I know we're all like feeling like, oh my God, I feel like a drained battery, like come on. Okay, it's a good match. Romantic chemistry, worth exploring. Something to be learned. Resonance, compatibility, mirror, a worthy adversary, a good pairing, mixes well. Two parts enhanced when brought together. So I'm not going to go into the lengthy description on the back of the card. I think that we get the idea that things may be presenting to us right now that we were hesitant because of, I just feel like a lot of endings are going to be butting up against beginnings, and it's not going to be this like lengthy, because I know even for me, like I kept getting messages from other readers that it was like everything's going to be upon you like really quickly. Things can move quick. So enjoy the moment of nothing going on while it lasts. And so I think that like things are about to start picking up. Things have a potential to move very quickly. So it's going to be up to you to consciously pace things. The influence from the past that is clearing up but is still sort of affecting the situation is this is an issue of self-love. So the things that have culminated now that are processing, they are the lessons that we've been working on related to self-love. And so when we are truly, like, we need to grasp that right now, because that's the test. It's like, are you going to make the decisions for yourself moving forward that reflect your own love for yourself? Or are you going to self-abandon in the name of codependency and enmeshment because you don't want to be abandoned, because deep down you're afraid that you're not worthy and you're inadequate, right? So we're overcoming that now. And all the things that we've experienced in the past, those awful chaotic problems and deep wounds inflicted, it was from cycles of low self-love. And we didn't know how. And we had wounds that were unhealed and unwitnessed. But now that's not true. They are being healed and they are being witnessed, and we can have something real now because we're learning to love ourselves. And this issue is not going to be affecting us for much longer because new cycles are coming in, new experiences based on who we are now and what we're bringing to the table now and how we can show up for life now. Okay, what was that? Stop obsessing. Whatever's crowning you right now is a tendency to want to obsess over the situation, because it's probably something that you've wanted for a while. And it's probably something that is, you're very excited and you can feel the building sense that something is circling your runway. Something wants to come in. And so it's very tempting to want to grasp at the strings of the balloon, right? But just sit in stillness and in the security and in the confidence and in the certainty of knowing that the balloon, the gas, the helium is gonna weaken and the balloon will fall right into your hands soon enough. So stop tiring yourself out and wasting your energy and your focus on grasping at strings, and instead focus on all of the things that are making you feel so good and nurtured and are creating such an amazing life to share and are making you such a stronger vessel. Just keep doing your thing and preparing yourself and saying your prayers and believing and trusting and doing the actions that you're guided to take in the moments that you're needing to take them, and then just surrender and let that be that. All right, okay, don't be lazy. So coming up around the corner, don't be lazy. Don't get off track. This is Taurus season, so we have a tendency to want to be like loungy and like luxuriant and like all of that. But we really need to stay on our game and be very grounded and stay in those routines. Stay in creation phase 3, which in the straightforward oracle, this is my custom deck here. In Kabbalah, we talk about the 4 phases of creation. And so phase 4 is manifestation. Phase 1 is an initial idea. It's sort of a passive desire for something, but it's the first spark. The phase 2 is when you're getting really gung-ho and you have all the inspiration, you're going for it, and you're putting in all the effort and like burning the midnight oil and like taking chances, and you're like feeling the high of like getting it. Phase 3 is when you're fucking tired and nothing is happening and you've been putting yourself out like a lamb to the slaughter and there's really no hope in sight and you feel like you're in the middle of the desert and you're just in forever in the, you know, end of act 2 in the confrontation. It's at that moment where you're being tested and you have to keep pushing through with absolute certainty that your desire is there because the end is there for you, already for the taking, and it's something that you've been put in your heart to go for. And if it wasn't, then the desire would die and you'd give up. And so it's the desire and the determination and the persistence that gives you all the power in your manifestation. That's the thing that's creating mighty, powerful energies and angels that support and assist you. If you're doing things half-heartedly, then you don't have very powerful magic. You're creating like angels with like half a wing kind of thing. They're like distorted and deformed. And if you start talking about a bunch of stuff and don't follow through with it, that's called leaving empty vessels that create chaos. So be wise and be very clear about maintaining that focus, that determination, that drive. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep doing your workouts, keep, you know, being healthy, keep doing your self-reflection, keep doing the growth, keep putting in the effort to that side hustle to make it your full-time thing. Whatever it is, stay focused, because the perspective, your perspective that's influencing you right now, prosperity and abundance. You're starting to develop a mindset of confidence, of certainty, of worthiness, of self-love, of prosperity and abundance. You're feeling at ease, and it's like you're kind of standing outside of yourself going like, whoa, who's this? What is this? Who am I? This is amazing. So it's a mindset of prosperity and abundance that can be, you know, pushed back against with the obsession because of the ego. The ego is going to feel threatened by this. But we just have to make the ego understand that we're not killing the ego, we're just trying to heal it so that it can be a positive, helpful team player instead of sabotaging us. We want to get the platinum medal ego. Right now you're getting us the bronze. Okay. Outside influence affecting us now. This is part of the journey. So don't guilt yourself about anything that's happening. Don't feel worried or stressed about anything that's happening. You are in right standing with God. Everything is happening in perfect order. Your steps are being ordered. That was actually louder than it was painful. So just know that this is part of the journey, and that, yeah, it's like it matters the way you take your steps, but you're being guided and you're being led. And so you need to tune in right now and be mindful, be wise, and be intentional, but do not let the devil get you twice. The male Satan is the one that tricks you up to begin with your grandiosity or, you know, like keeping you small. But the she-devil, the female Satan, is the one that comes in after and makes you feel guilty and ashamed and worthless. And so the devil who gets you the first time has been sent on behalf of the Creator as your adversary to push and challenge you. It's not that necessarily the Creator was like, do this, but it was the Creator was like, okay, I'm keeping my hands clean, but you're gonna do my dirty work. That's your job. You need to be the resistance. The female Satan is the one that will trick you into taking all of your light away, right? So if the first Satan gets you, and you're really like, it was an innocent like mistake, not because you knew about the loophole, But if you accidentally make a mistake and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna learn from this, and I'm gonna forgive myself for it, and I'm gonna change. I'm gonna let this make me change. Then you've elevated your spirit. And that is when you're the Mario that defeats the bad guy, and you get that big Mario coin moment where you grab all that power. If you're like, oh God, I made this mistake, and oh, this is terrible, and you know, you beat yourself up, and then you try to like do all these things to get yourself out of the mistake, and it makes it worse and worse and worse. It's like that's the dark side, grabbing your light, cha-ching, 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 and you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller as Mario. And then you're like going back a level, right? You're do like game over, starting over again. So this is part of the journey. Take one on the chin and keep going, but don't sit and bemoan your fate. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't do things out of guilt and duty and like, oh, I have to. Don't waste your life like this. This is about sovereignty, and this is about you doing your Father's work, the Creator's work, your Heavenly Father and Mother coming together and guiding and leading you. And right now, the ego is going to trick you with anything that it can. So it could very well come in the guise of, well, I'm just doing the right thing. Be very careful about that. Be very careful about that. The nice thing, the right thing can be disguised as, it can be the wrong thing disguised in sheep's clothing. Okay, this is going to represent our hopes and fears. You veered off path. Did you lose focus? Have you gotten sidetracked? Did you make a wrong turn? Where do things feel off? So yeah, you fear right now that you've made a horrible mistake, or you're off path, or like, what's going on? I'm questioning everything. And it's like, this is part of the journey. It doesn't mean that there weren't mistakes made, but it's like, what are you gonna do now? So let's look at these other two cards that came up. Listen to your intuition, inner guidance, psychic impulse, ESP, instincts, gut response. What is the quiet whisper telling you? How do you feel inside when you bring this to mind? You're not crazy. Trust your gut. Okay, and what was this one? Creation phase 2. So trust your gut and do what needs to be done, right? When we have to let go of things in an eclipse cycle, career change, relationship change, whatever it is, it looks like a huge overhaul. It looks like a huge undertaking. We're like, you know what? Maybe it's just easier to just work it out where I am. And sometimes it's not the easier thing that's the right direction to go in. Creation phase 2 asks you to put your ass to the pavement and get the fucking work done. You have to do the hard thing and devote yourself and be consistent and committed. All right, what is the outcome? This is where your soul is calling you. Okay, so this direction that we're going in, it's part of the journey and it's soul-led. And so this fear that you've been veered off path, don't let that fear block your blessing that's coming in. Trust in certainty. Open yourself up. If you have veered off path, then you can cut a new path back, cut a new path forward, or get back on path. But right now, it's you that needs to choose what direction your soul and heart, like choose according, but like tune in. Where is your heart and soul leading you? What are they guiding you to do? It's still your choice. You have to choose that direction. And if you don't, if you cling to the past and those negative, toxic ways, patterns, behaviors, environments, you'll have consequences. Okay, so the soul is calling you in this direction. I have a tarot client that is texting me, so I'm gonna pause this video and be right back. Okay, sorry, had to do that real quick. Very quickly, let's finish this up. I'm gonna get 4 cards for clarification. We have Page of Swords. Oh, the rough truth is coming, honey. Brace yourself, or maybe you're delivering it, but be careful not to swing like with no regard of like what you're hitting, okay? This is not by any means necessary kind of action. This is taking your time to do things deliberately and consciously. Temperance. We've had temperance come up so much recently. Temperance is about taking what we've learned spiritually and now applying it to how we're living and moving and having our being in this life. It's about balance. It's about having one foot in spirit and one foot on the ground. And so it's about being divinely guided and inspired, but taking grounded action. And it's all about like easy does it, right? We're integrating. We are bringing things together into union and to embodiment, but it needs to happen gradually and slowly. And like in the other deck, Temperance is like this girl sitting in a white dress underneath like this beautiful, brilliant red umbrella, and doves are flying in and out of her hands. So the phrase easy come, easy go keeps coming into my head, but it's for good and for bad, right? So it's like when a bird has that freedom, it trusts you that it can come and go. It wants to be in your presence, right? It's there because it wants to be and it feels nurtured. It's attracted to your energy. If it feels like you're gonna trap the bird, it's not gonna come to you. But same also where you build something slowly over time, because easy come, easy go, right? If you jump in, if you go too fast, the vessel can't contain it and it's gonna break, right? So take your time, allow things to unfold slowly and sensitively and consciously. We have the Hierophant here. So there is something about what is happening now that is becoming very solid, and it's going in a very committed, devoted and focused conscious direction. So like this is like the Pope, this is like the highest level of spirituality and consciousness and leadership. This also can portend like something that is of traditional, it's traditional in some sense, or a large organization like the church, or like something that is like long held tradition or structures. The Catholic Church, the Pope, the government, the monarchy, marriage, right? The succession of like a fortune or an heir, right? Like these are long-term traditions that are sort of kind of being upheld, right? So something is coming in long-term, and or you might be becoming very much the leader. Like you might be taking on a real spiritual leadership role in your life, and maybe because of that, like in the eyes of others, you might have an influence. Oh, Ace of Cups. Love this. So we have new love, new cycles coming in of emotional replenishment, rebirth, new, enthusiasm and inspiration and optimism and creativity. This is about being creative about the new cycle. What do you want to write? What fills your heart with joy and happiness? What makes you feel sprightly? What makes you feel alive and like really like yourself and lit up? We're going in that direction now. And that could mean new romance. That could mean new friends. That could mean, really going a little bit deeper with the friends you have. Maybe you get like more tighter into a community or a group, So yeah, really good things coming. Fun social life, happiness, bonds. I love it. And what can be very long lasting, it's just that right now, like don't do anything harsh. Don't say anything insensitive. Don't do anything that you can't take back, right? Because you want to keep your hands clean. You want to give yourself the best chance of the most positive new start for yourself. And so you don't want to earn karma right away, or what we call it in Hebrew, it's tikkun. We don't want that tikkun. So just be on your game to be sitting pretty and pristine, and just let your prayers be known to the universe. If you feel fear, lack, or doubt right in that moment, you say, you know what? What is that? What is that Bible verse? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. All those who rise up against me shall fall. I will not fear what the devil may bring me, for I am a servant of God. Now you say that out loud with some authority, and you're not going to be worried about all these tricks out there being all over the place, because you're sustained. Right? We know about what eternal energy looks like. We're unwavering. We've learned how to self-control and to be one strong, resonant vibe. And that is going to be the most influential in the situation. Not up and down, an animal consciousness of reactivity, which most people are in, right? So think about that. That gives you a motivation to self-master. you become very influential. You become the Hierophant. In any situation that you go into, you're the spiritual power and influence in the environment. And because you're learning how to do that, you're having a new experience with life. Moonology cards that we've got are, these are unfamiliar. We have your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. So the first quarter moon, the commitment is being tested. We're talking about creation phase 2. Oh no, did I make a mistake? Ooh, this seems risky and scary that I may not get what I want. So I'm scared to really go after it, right? I'm gonna tell myself, oh no, it's probably just not the right thing, and so I'm gonna give up. But no, you need to go in even harder. Do not give up. Your commitment is being tested because that is part of the initiation of the spiritual life. It may not be happening to Joe Schmo over there because he's not on the spiritual path. But for spiritual people, what we want, our commitment and our perseverance is tested. It's the universe will say like, okay, all right, you want this? You really want it? All right, I'm gonna push back a little bit. I wanna see how much you're willing, how much skin you're willing to put in the game, right? So you want it? Come and get it. And that's the universe right now telling you, don't be lazy, don't be lazy, don't veer off path in your consciousness. Stay focused on what you want, keep your desire there, keep going after it like you won't be stopped. And tell the creator, like, look, I desire this. I feel like I'm in right standing with you to go after it no matter what. I will not be stopped. And if I need to be stopped, then creator, you stop me. You show me that I'm in the wrong path. But for now, I'm going to go at it. I'm going to get at it. Get at it. Okay, your commitment is being tested. Keep going. What else does it say? Have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon. So your commitment will be tested. Don't pay it any mind other than keep going, because you need to have faith in your dreams. That is going to be the magic sauce that unlocks that takes the lid off of your container so that you can receive the blessing. It's faith, it's certainty. Doubt, fear, lack, scarcity, those things close the vessel. Ingoing and outcoming, so just remember that. Okay, we have 2 of Swords. There's something that indecision is keeping things in a stalemate when the 2 of Swords comes up. There's like this equal opposing energy here where maybe like your desire is equal with your hesitance. So you need to get clear about what you want so it can come in quickly. King of Pentacles, compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. A time of great success, financial security, and prosperity. The Midas touch, everything turning out beautifully. A supportive parent or spouse, a good person to work for. So, other people's influences in the situation may be the ones that are like the indecisive ones, or you might have just enough of opposing energies where it's keeping a stalemate. So that's why you need to tip your consciousness into that of the King of Pentacles, because what's coming in does have long-term fulfillment. It does have long-term stability. It does have long-term value. But right now, there's turbulence in the air, and you need to stabilize the airplane so it can land in the gate. 7 of Pentacles comes up. So it's just about being relaxed in this moment. Work in the garden. Like you've planted seeds, they're coming. Now you can't overtend. You just have to let go and let it play out in its own good timing. And getting obsessed or neurotic about it is not going to make it go faster. It's going to slow it down. Okay, what are our cards for our manifestation? Oh my gosh, my reading client is going to be here soon. Music for manifesting. Listen to music that gets you pumped, that gets you like really visualizing your dreams and in the state of feeling like you have them already. Get in that visualizing state. I love to do this when I'm walking or running or dancing or whatever, but I really visualize what I'm manifesting while I get into like my head space and that feeling space. That's what makes music so powerful. It ignites your feelings, and it makes your feelings, it gets them really nuanced. And so however you want to feel, play music like that, like what you want to manifest, right? Like the feeling that you want, get there now and get in that state of already being in that dream life that you want in your imagination while the music is making you feel that way. Waves of prosperity, new abundance and exciting opportunities wash over you now. So really exciting things are coming and culminating and unfolding, and we're just in this testing period. Treasure chest, an unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. Oh my God, like prosperity and abundance. Unforeseen windfall, like love and money are affected by Venus, you guys. And usually when one of them is feeling like a surge, it gives a boost to the other, right? Because you're feeling so good. The more good feeling you are, the more magnetic you are. Oh my gosh, explore your options and contemplation time came out together. So in order to not put too much pressure on any given situation, whether it be career, clients, jobs, relationships, friends, dreams, pursuits, hobbies, whatever it is, don't put so much pressure on it that you're choking the life out of it or that you're causing resistance. You don't want to put any pressure on anything right now, because if you're really in relaxed uncertainty, you can afford to take some time off. You can afford to shift your consciousness and your attention to something that like pleases you and is self-care, right? So have fun, explore your options. Use this time alone to meditate on what you truly desire, to do the inner exploration on self, and to beautify your life. And things are all coming together, and the more relaxed you are and the more in love you are with your moment right now, the more like fulfillment you're gonna have in this moment, and time is gonna feel like it goes by much faster. All right, and then this is our relationship or a romance oracle, the Romance Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. Oh my God, honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So you may have some good movement or news in your love life around the next holiday. That might be what's coming up. Memorial Day is soon, I think. But yeah, sometime within May or June could be some positive forward movement there. So very good, very exciting. Otherwise, I would say just lend your energy and lightheartedness to the spirit of honeymoon and freshness and fun and not too serious, not too weighed down. You know, it's about, the honeymoon is about going on an adventure. It's about having fun. It's about experiences. It's about, you know, champagne and flavor and making love with life. You know, to me, I associate fucking honeymoon with Venice, Italy, Europe, France, all those places where sensuality is at the forefront. So just honeymoon with yourself, right? If you're single, but really get into that space, because you really want to be like the energy, the seed level of what we're starting, this fresh start, this new beginning, like over the next 6 months, kind of, the seed level of our consciousness is going to be the flavor of what we grow. And so if we're in love and in honeymoon mindset, regardless of whether we have anybody in on it with us, I like to romance myself all the time. That is going to be what we create. And so, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of like romantic experiences that happen to me and around me all the time. It's really funny. And I think it's because I'm creating such a vibration like that around me that is naturally what is being, you know, reflected back to me now. Children, your love life is being affected by children. I usually read this as being affected by the inner child. So inner child healing is really what needs to be focused on right now. But I do know that a lot of you have kids, and a lot of my viewers are single parents. And so I don't want to, you know, not be realistic right now that like sometimes, yeah, like your kids can get, you know, be an issue when you're trying to date, whether it's just trying to like get someone to watch them, or, you know, navigating whether or not people that you're meeting want to have kids. You know, it's a whole nother factor. And so don't let that get you down, and don't let don't take anything personally out there, because people like kids and religion, like I have the religion thing come up all the time for me because of being a tarot reader. and having like Jewish beliefs and Kabbalah and Christian all in one. People, I don't know how to deal with this. So usually it's like the agnostics that are the most comfortable with me. But yeah, I don't take it personally. I know those are very big issues for people. So don't let your self-worth take a hit, right? And also, maybe somebody really likes you, but they have like some stuff that they have to deal with their kids, and so they're not like able to give you as much attention as they want to. So maybe if they're distant, don't take it personally, because it may just be stuff going on with their kids that's keeping them busy or distracted. But not distracted, like focused on what's, you know, their priority, which makes them a good parent. So, all right, love yourself first. Okay, so at least for the next couple of weeks, probably, you know, the big focal point for the next 6 months until next eclipse season is, because next eclipse season, the nodes are shifting into Aries and Libra, where the south node will be in Aries and the north node will be in Libra. And so this is about really going into, you know, leaving behind the former identity of self and then going forward with a new self and like how we show up within our partnerships and relationships. So in order to give ourselves the best shot of having a healthy, sustaining love is to love ourselves first, as we all know, right? All right, and then our final romance oracle card is, okay, there's two together. Pay attention to red flags, and religious factors are affecting your love life. So pay attention if you have multiple options going on right now in your love life, and there are red flags going on with people that have to do with probably like a conflict of like deep core beliefs, then pay attention to that, because while in the beginning, in the honeymoon stage, you might be able to like get over it later. I mean, in this spread, there's something that's coming up that has to do with religious factors and children. So maybe you're meeting someone that you hit it off with, or that you have met someone that you hit it off with, and maybe you're like weighing out your options, and maybe you're dating a few people, and that person that you hit it off with, it's like, it seems like they'd be the good choice, but really deep down, like at your core authenticity, you're like, actually, I think that they want this and I don't, and like, I think that we really conflict in this way. And you know, maybe that's a sign to just like, that's a red flag. Like, pursue, where was it? It was explore your options. Like, definitely don't make any like final calls about any new people coming into your life right now. Like, if old people are trying to leave, let that be that. Let them go. New people coming in, like, don't, like, take it easy, take it slow. Like, let things progress so that you can get to know people. Okay. And then don't blind yourself, don't kid yourself. If something major like kids and religious issues are like conflicting and you want a serious relationship, don't waste your time. Do yourself a favor and just go on to the next person that can actually offer you something that's could lead somewhere, you know? All right, what is our advice from Mary, Mother Mary, Jesus' mom? Giving and receiving. Oh my gosh, this little baby looks too skinny. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. And in other ways, we see that as balancing the masculine and the feminine, divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us, so that holy union can happen from within. And so that is kind of happening within right now, which creates the conditions that can happen in our outer world as well. Children, again, my heart is filled with love for children, which creates miracles and positive change for them and me. So show your inner child the love that you feel that you were lacking, that you are reaching for, that is perpetuating your patterns. Show yourself that love. Go back to the inner child and give it to the child yourself, so that you can heal that and you can feel fulfilled without having to look outside of yourself, right? When you learn how to validate the self from within with your contact with Creator, with Holy Spirit, then you can make less self-destructive decisions because you're not reaching out of a need or a lack. Okay, our last word from Jesus. Love one another as I have loved you. And that's unconditionally. It doesn't come with strings. It doesn't come with fluctuations. I'm mad at you today. I'm withholding. You know, it's eternal. It's unwavering. It's perpetual. So, God bless. I hope you make it through this death and rebirth. Batten down the hatches. Don't do anything crazy. But let endings happen, let culminations happen, and if blessings and opportunities are coming in, then be on the lookout, because they certainly are. And so anything that's trying to leave right now is literally trying to create the space for you to receive the blessings that are trying to come in. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Look, y'all, you know what happens to people who ride fences? They get fucked up in the ass by the fence. And when people are like, why do I always get fucked up in the ass? It's like, because you refuse to get off the fence. All right? So get off the fence. Get that fence out of your ass. All right? Ciao.